Hello, Hendrix. Please, you can continue. Hendrix, can you hear me?
Oh, sorry. I've been speaking for some minutes. My mic was turned off. All right, yeah. So, good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for joining this session. My name is Lingida Joshua, and I'll be chairing the session for today. This is the seventh session of the I Write I Research Fundamental series. Last week we had our sixth session where we discussed advanced strategies to literature search. I'd like to give kudos to Benjamin Zahiman Anongo for taking us that very beautiful, insightful session. You could go back to our YouTube channel. I write, I research, like, subscribe, and have a tune of some of the videos we've uploaded so far, some of the classes you would find beneficial to you. And we are back with strong synergy this week with the seventh session, which is the lecturer-student relationships, titled From Awkward Silence to Meaningful Mentorship, while building rapport with your lecturers opens doors. Our students' journey are really meant to be walked alone, but it's been proven by credible research data that most students come to school and rarely have discussions or any of such meaningfully with their lecturers. That's not how it's supposed to be. And the purpose of this particular session for today is to bridge that gap. And what we would explore today is two perspectives. The first is why it matters and how exactly to do it right. And with us today, we have two speakers. The first speaker is Joseph Joel Guda. He is a researcher and a research assistant. She will be talking us through why lecturer-student relationship matters. And our second speaker would be Haggai Elisha. He's also a researcher and a former campus lead for the MCN, Millennium Campus Fellowship, Millennium Campus Nigeria, sorry. She will talk us through building professional relationships without being misunderstood. Joel would focus on the outline where he will talk about the misconceptions students have about lecturers. The second, he will talk about who lecturers are beyond the classroom. The third point he would ponder on is academic and career benefits of student-lecturer relationships. And then the last point he would ponder on is the real-life Nigerian examples. I can recount on an example today. I was at the faculty where I currently IT, and there was a prof coming in for the morning, and I saw him and I walked up to him and greeted him. Although we had established this, brief acquaintance, and he told me that there would be a seminar presentation. If I was interested, I should come. So, I mean, having these relationships aren't just built in a single day. You build relationships over time. Our speaker, second speaker, Haggai Elisha, which I've just told us he's a researcher and a former campus lead for the Millennium Campus Nigeria. He will talk us through four major goals. The first he will ponder on is the common mistakes students make trying to build relationships with their lecturers. And then he will talk about the practical steps to support you in building those relationships. The third point he would ponder on is the opportunities that comes even after graduation. We talk about the recommendation letters and all whatnot. And then the final point you ponder on is the final advice for students who have built relationships, who are trying to build relationships. But before we proceed into the first speaker session, we created a form where we tried to get some responses from students who are registering for this session and why they intended for the session, reasons for the things they'd like us to talk about or address during this session. And I will read through some of them. The first speaker, the first registrant, said the question we asked was, which specific areas of lecturer-student relationships are you most keen to discuss? The first registrant talked about finding potential mentors, strategies for research collaboration, requesting recommendation letters, professional communications, etiquette, and then seeking academic guidance. The second registrant um, said requesting recommendation letters and seeking academic guidance or advice. The third registrant said also, pointed out finding potential mentors, strategies for research collaboration, requesting recommendation letters, personal communication etiquette. And the fourth registrant um, declared interest in seeking to know academic guidance and advice from lecturers. And also the fourth, which is finding potential mentors, strategies for research collaboration, and potential communication etiquette. So we make these drop downs or these, you know, categories of areas through which people who are joining this call would love, you know, um, you know, um, would love to, seek more info on how to go about some of this, which would be meant for our speakers. You guys could just take notes. And also, the last person who also registered also indicated interest in finding potential mentors and seeking academic guidance and advice. So, a simple poll and a simple summary from all the reasons people who have joined this call registered for. They are very much keen on knowing how to build relationships that would aid the request for recommendation letters. And one of the most important is seeking academic guidance and advice. So during this course of the session, our speakers would highlight the importance on some of the reasons why we have joined this call today. So I welcome our first speaker, Joseph Joel Guda, to speak to us on his outlines like I have listed out earlier. So Mr. Joel, you're welcome. Thank you very much. Mr. Haga Elisha, thank you so for joining the call. He's our second speaker for the session today. You're welcome. Thank you very much. Mr. Joel, you have the floor.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Lindy. Thank you for having me on board tonight. It is indeed a great pleasure again to be here. So, um, I think you've done a great job by doing introduction already. Thank you, Mr. Agai, for having you again on board. Thank you, Dr. Ben, and as many persons again who are on board. So, my name again is Joel Joseph Guda, and I happen to be a researcher and also a research assistant. And currently now I work with a mission agency as a monitoring, evaluation, learning and research officer with them currently now. So I will be taking the section is a basic question: why students should have good relationship with their lecturers. And these areas he has mentioned will cover a lot of things that we need to look at, talking about the misconception, talking about the opportunities, why shouldn't or why students avoid interaction with lecturers, and then who are these lecturers, and then what are the academic benefits, career benefits, and then I'm also going to talk about a real life case study situation on how to go about that. And I'll point out how to build a good relationship, what to avoid, and then from that I'll take questions. I'd love to share my screen, but I think my device on the system is still loading. But once it comes up, then I'll put it up there, then share the screen so that you guys can see. But at the end of the day, I will send my slides to you guys to go over and then learn more. So without wasting of much time, as I've said, the first thing I'm going to be addressing tonight is I have a basic question with me here. The question is how many students, sorry, only speak to their lecturers during lectures or examination. One of the challenge so far has been that students interact with lecturers from the confine of the classroom settings. So outside of the classroom settings, students no longer have any relationship with lecturers. So the only thing is when the lecturer comes into class, they answer questions. After answering questions, That is all for that day. And that's been a major challenge when it comes to the academic setting. I think that's been one of the issues I've had countless time with a lot of our people, with a lot of our students. And I'll keep telling them there is more. There is more to that. So the lecturers per se, lecturers are human beings like you, and you've got to understand that lecturers play a major role, a big major role. Um, more than being instructors or examiners. So you've got to understand that first, your lecturers are your number one mentor when it comes to the academic stuff. Second, lecturers are researchers. You've got to understand that lecturers also play a major role when it comes to your career. They serve as career advisors also. Now, lecturers stands also as connectors to opportunities beyond classroom. So you've got to have this perspective. You've got to have this understanding. It's going to help you a lot. These are the first basic things you need to know as a student. And once you're able to know these things, it gives you that edge. It gives you that advantage in your endeavors, or it gives you advantage as you engage the other phase of life. And one other things to take notice, positive relationship with lecturers open doors that classroom attendance alone cannot open. And I'll keep emphasizing this thing that if you don't have relationship with lecturers, you're limited. That's one thing you've got to know. You are limited, and all that you just have is just the classroom relationship. And I was relating with someone the other day, and I was like, oh, I know a lot of people who are excellent. I know a lot of people who are good, and but the disadvantage is that all they have or all they know is the classroom. Yes, it's the classroom. And the truth is, you can be a student, and as long as you don't have that relationship with your lecturers, you are disadvantaged. You've got to know that you are disadvantaged. So we've got to go beyond the classroom setting into a system where we're able to develop a very consistent and robust relationship with our lecturers. Now, the next slide I have with me is common misconception. So I'm trying to be fast. I have just 20 minutes. Common misconception we've got to look at. Now, the first thing I have is people feel lecturers are too busy. That's the first misconception. People feel lecturers are too busy, and I want to disagree with that. The truth is, lecturers are not too busy. Lecturers are not too busy. Sorry, I'm going to switch right now. I want to switch back to the system now. I think it's back. All right, so we've got to understand that lecturers are not too busy. So students have this assumption that oh, lecturers you can hear me?
Well, yeah, we can hear you clearly.
Can anyone hear me, please?
Yes, we can hear
Oh,
you.
okay, good. So one of the misconceptions is one of the things, the reality is most lecturers are not really busy. Most lecturers are welcoming. At least I've been around the school environment to have this understanding. Most lecturers are very much welcoming, very relatable, right? But the thing is, they relate to students who show genuine interest and who are interested in their growth. So you don't expect a lecturer to just welcome someone who is not even sure about their pathway, who is not even sure about what they really want to give their time to. This is one of the things. Now, another misconception a lot of students have is that lecturers are unfriendly. Yeah, I've had a lot of students say that, oh, that lecturer is not friendly, that lecturer is harsh, or this and that like that, and I'll keep saying that he's wrong, is a lie. Hmm? You've got to understand that lecturers are very friendly. You know, I've had that. I once had such a misconception, and it almost affected me with one of my former HOD, Dr. Trushak. So there was a time we had issues, very serious issue, and I wasn't relating with him. I wasn't relating with him because of the misconception I had. But along the line, when we got to interact, when I got to have a change of mindset perspective, I realized that this man is very friendly. So you've got to understand that lecturers are professionals who appreciate respectful and thoughtful engagement. This is one thing you've got to understand. These guys are very professional. They are very professional, and they respect professional, respectful, and thoughtful relationship. That's one thing you've got to understand. Another misconception is visiting means seeking favor. A lot of people have this misconception too, that, oh, when you begin to approve lecturers, it means that you want favor from them, or maybe lecturers might think maybe you want favor from them, and that. But the truth is, it's not really so. It's not really so. But when I begin to come close to a lecturer, it does not mean that I want a favor from the lecturer. It's not correct to think so. Yes, it's not correct to think so. So you've got to understand that seeking academic guidance reflect maturity and a genuine desire to succeed. So I had a situation with Dr. Trushak. I'm very close to him. So Professor Trushak now, pardon me. And so there was a time I just felt like, oh, I need to get something for my my lecturer, just to tell him thank you, and that. So I got him a gift, and then he had to revolt. I was like, okay, do you hope you're not getting this gift for me for anything? I said, no, sir, just for just I'm not getting it for you as my lecturer, right? So he said, okay, no problem. But we've got to understand that when you begin to interact with lecturers, that first of all, it's not for favor. You don't do that for favor. You've got to understand that. Now, another misconception is lecturers only care about grades. So student believes lecturers are only focused on assessment, but the truth is lecturers invest in students. Yeah, lecturers invest in student overall growth, mentorship, and project growth. So, I've had interaction with my lecturers in my university days. Yeah, let me use that word. And I have seen them, they are very much interested in seeing your growth. That's the truth. They are very much interested in seeing that you become a better person. So anytime you are going through, you're having a struggle or you're having a challenge, you're able to relate with them. You're able to tell them, "Oh, this is what's happening to me." Yeah, so because they are interested in your growth, they're interested in your progress, they're interested in seeing that you're doing better. So, I had a spill, and when the former HOD, when he realized I had a spill, he wasn't happy. It was obvious that I wasn't happy. This same current HOD, when he realized that, oh, I'm having a spill, I was like, Joe, but you are too smart for this. So even this afternoon, we spoke with him. I was not in school. We spoke with him, and he had to call to confirm, okay, what and what do I have to catch up with. Then I had to let him know, okay, this is what I am having, this is what is left, this is what is left. So such kind of relationship, these are some of the things that lecturer care about, not just your grade. Now the next thing is why students avoid interactions. Why students avoid interactions. A lot of students avoid interactions with the lecturers for many, many reasons. So, many students miss out on valuable mentorship, networking, and academic guidance due to avoidable barriers. Yeah, so understanding this obstacle is a first step towards building meaningful relationship with lecturers. Now, I have about four reasons why students avoid this interaction, this relationship, this communication with their lecturers.
Now, the number one reason is fear of rejection or judgment. So, a lot of students feel like when I approach this lecturer, he's going to talk me down or he's going to reject me. So, instead of trying, they just conclude. Yes. So instead of the student to try, okay, let me try, let me see if it's going to work out. They don't even make the attempt of trying. They just conclude, and then that's one challenge. Another thing again to look out for is lack of confidence in communication. And I think that's one of the things I love about Benjamin and his friend Joshua. I love that very much about them. Their ability to reach out, number one, their ability to communicate. Yes. So you've got to have that confidence in yourself. That's the first thing. You've got to have that confidence in yourself. And once you have that confidence, it helps you a lot. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, we can see your screen.
All right, good. I think we are getting there gradually. So that's second thing. Now the third thing is negative peer stories and stereotypes. Yeah. So there's this lecturer then I wanted to get close to. Then student kept saying things about the lecturer. They kept saying things about the lecturer, and it almost affected my perspective. It almost affected the way I see the lecturer, the way I view him. But I realized that with time, and I realized that those things are just stories, negative stories about him. Yeah. So many a times when you pay attention to such stories, you also have a way of affecting. These are misconceptions that affect how close you go to a lecturer, right? Or how much you interact with them. Another thing to look at, for example, poor communication skill. Poor communication skill. A lot of students have poor communication skill. They are not able to say indeed what's in their mind. Yeah, so they shy away from what is important, and these things are not good. Poor communication skill has been a major challenge so far in the matters of our interaction or our relationship with lecturers. So the next slide is now let's talk about these lecturers. Who are these lecturers? Who are these lecturers? This is one thing to check out for. Now, the first thing I made when I did my introduction, I mentioned out something. The first thing is the lecturers are researchers and mentors. And I think my department very well that they are researchers now because you know and they are mentors. So when you can't I think Professor Bushid is one example of such. So you can't get close to that man if you don't know what you are doing or if you don't even have an idea of what you want to do. So the other day we were interacting with him and he was asking very critical questions. He was asking very critical questions. I think that was last month. And he is looking for a student who is passionate about what they want to do, who know what they want to do, and who wants to be involved in what they want to do. Yes. So that's one thing you've got to understand. Lecturers conduct active research and they mentor students in academic inquiry, critical thinking, scholarly development beyond even the classwork. So you've got to understand that. Now, the next thing to look out for again is they are also career advisors and consultants. Um, I was supposed to do something like 2 years ago, so I had to consult. No, yeah, 2 years ago I had to consult Dr. Trusha, Professor Trusha. Sorry, I had to consult him, and then we got talking, and he was advising me on the career paths. So he told me certain and gave me certain advantage. And when I reasoned it with my interest, when I checked it out, my interest in my research in my interest in research, I just noticed that oh, this is a good path for me to to further on. So that's one thing we got to know. Another thing is lecturers are authorities, are authors and industrious professionals. So lecturers are published authors and active industry professionals um, whose real world expertise enrich students' learning and open doors to practical experiences. So one of the things you've got to understand is beyond the classroom, these guys are involved in publications. Let me use that word. They are involved in publications, and for you to even get into a world where you have understanding of the corporate professional body entirely. So they can help you in the build up. They can help you in the build up. So far, okay, for example, I was trying to work on something that I've been unable to do for quite some time. And I got talking with Professor Omuniwa concerning what I was supposed to do. And within a twinkle of an hour, the man was showing me certain things, and I just saw the movement. I just saw the ease in the whole thing I've been trying to do for quite some months, right? Because why? He's an authority, there's an author there, and he's a professional in that particular field. These are part of the things we normally don't see about lecturers. Now, the other thing again, the last point here about who lecturers are is they are connectors to opportunities. I've been saying something around this. Lecturers are connectors to opportunities. A lecturer's professional network can connect students to internship, scholarship, postgraduates programs, and career opportunity that are otherwise unknown. Yes. So these are certain things also that
All right. So I think the network has kicked Joel out of the call, but you'll join shortly. Sorry for the break in transmission.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. So, one of the academic benefits, right, in the matters of this relationship with lecturers is it helps you academic wise. It helps you academic wise to be a sound student. Now, it helps you in better coursework understanding. It helps you even when it comes to research and project supervision. When you have a good relationship with lecturers, you are able to become good even in carrying out your thesis or carrying out some researches, personal researches. These are certain things it helps you a lot in doing. Study guide also, it helps you in study guides and feedback. So I think I was doing a research, I was doing some findings some time ago, and I had to stay in a confine, I had to stay around a lecturer to be a guide for me. So they help you in guidance so that you don't go outside of the box in your interest. Another thing again it does, it helps you improve academic confidence. So when you have a good relationship with a lecturer, it helps build that confidence, right? It helps build that confidence because there is this insight, this knowledge you just have that, oh, I have this person in my circle, I have this person around me. I can go that far, I can do that thing. So these are some of things it does to you. Now, the other thing we're looking at for is the career benefits of this relationship. The career benefits. The first thing is these are I'm just pointing out now. I think I've done oversight. I've done an over talk of those things. First thing is when I have a good relationship with my lecturers, it points back to career guidance. So I was supposed to do something certain time ago. Then I consulted one of the lecturers that I'm in touch with. Though this person is not a University of Jos staff, he's currently a lecturer in Zamfara, Federal University of Zamfara, currently now. And then we got talking, and the man was exposing me to certain things. So one thing you got to understand again is that I don't work with just lecturers within the school I just graduated. I have contacts with lecturers outside of my school space because there are certain things I want to do. Sometimes the professionalism or the expertise, let me use the word expertise. Maybe the lecturers around me might not be experts in that field. So I have to consult another lecturer in another either institution or department. Now, they also helps in recommendation letter and scholarship information. Now, this thing is very key, very, very key. First is they serve in career guidance and internship opportunities. Lecturers tend to see more of internship opportunities, and if they have that relationship with you, you'll be the first person they will think of. The first person they will think of, and they want to share that with you. Second thing is recommendation letters and scholarship information. So you you want to maybe you have plans to further for masters.
So maybe you have plans to further for your master studies and you need lecturers for recommendation. I'll keep telling their Ben sometimes, I'll tell them if my school said bring 6 recommendation later. Can you hear me, please?
We can hear you, sir.
All right, thank you. So if my school says maybe the school I want to apply for, they says bring 6 recommendation later, it's not a big deal for me. If they want professors, I can give them professors. It's not a big deal because why I've had a good rapport, not just with University of just lecturers. I've had a good rapport with researchers within the University of Jos, outside of the University of Jos, right? And at any time, if I need their services, they can pull up for me. That's one of the advantage. Now, the next thing is professional networking. Now, professional networking, industry connection. I have a dream. I'm pushing something currently to have my research firm. And now, this research firm I want to do, my lecturers alone cannot give me the breakthrough or the move like that. They are limited because they're also lecturers now. I I had to push out. So when I had to consult, get insights on that, one of the things that it has done to me is that it gave me a relationship with another lecturer. So Professor Omuniwa gave me a contact of another doctor. And when I reached out to the doctor, we got talking. He took me through his lab, showed me how his lab works, shows me the other thing, how he was able to build his lab and stuff like that. So it helps in professional networking. Due to the relationship I had with them also, it gave me that insight. I was able to reach out to some research institute outside there, and it's based on the relationship with lecturers. It's as a result of the relationship with the lecturers. So this is part of the career benefit. Now talking about real life case study. Now I would love to use one of our seniors as my case study. I'd love to use one of our seniors as my case study. Um, I think I'll call his name. Yeah, his name is Nasir. So um, we are in touch with him. We've been in touch with him. He graduated as a 2-1 student from the department, and he needed to get first. recommendation. So he needed to get recommendation. Immediately he reached out to me and we got talking. I was like, oh, you got a job, something like that. He needed recommendation. I said, okay, that's cool. And before I know, he was able to link up with one of our lecturers, and immediately he had enough recommendations. As I'm speaking to you right now, Nasir has gotten a mentor already in Malaysia, and we are working on having a few publications for Nasir. And very soon, Nasir will be out of Nigeria for his masters. So that's, and all this was able to, all this happened, the ease and everything happened due to the level of relationship he has with his lecturers. Because if your lecturer does not know you, the truth is it will be hard for you to get recommendations from them. So that's one thing we've got to know. That's one thing we've got to pay attention to. And now I think I have two more slides, then I'll take questions. I've spent enough and too much of time already. Now, how to build good relationship. I will just be very brief. How to build good relationship. Now, the first thing to look out for is attend class and be respectful. Um, I, I am smiling because I'm somehow guilty of what I'm saying, but along the line, I had to repent. I never liked class. Yeah, I never liked class. I used to skip class, but I now realize that there is just a little I can do without loving to be in class. So and I will discover that the moment I began to show up in class, lecturers began to know me and to be able to interact very well. Now another thing again that is very important is ask questions and participate actively in class. This is one thing I know I do. Any day I'm in class, I can ask questions very well. There are times I ask questions and we have to postpone. Whereas I've had questions, I've had situations where my lecturer had to postpone my question for the next class. So I love to ask questions, very serious, rigorous questions. That's one. The second thing is learn to visit offices, visit lecturers. You've got to learn to visit lecturers in their offices. It's very good. They love it. When you come to their office, visit them, come to greet them, ask them questions. It's very, very important. Then the next thing is show genuine interest in learning. So all the lecturers that I've had, all the people who have been academic mentor, it didn't just happen overnight. I take interest in what they are doing and we talk about it, we interact about it, we debate about it. And then they just like, oh, this guy, they just pick interest in you. So that's one of the things to do. Now, the last thing on my list here is what to avoid. What to avoid. Now, the first thing you've got to avoid is avoid seeking special favor or grade manipulation. You've got to avoid it very well, very well. I I, I had a spill, right? So I had a spill, and the first Professor Bushit was a former HOD. I know him. The other one that left, Professor Trisha, very close to him. Now the current HOD, very close to him, and it would have been a walkover for me to just reach out to them and then they should help me out. And but it doesn't ethically, it's not ethical enough, right? I've made my mistake, then I've got to get back to clean it up. Yes. So, and it's not ethical for me now to get close to them so that we can just manipulate my results so that I can clear up. No, it doesn't make sense. I think yesterday or this morning, I had a news about a barrister that served a son who has now been ripped off of being a son because he forged his way through. He had some document forgery and everything like that. So that's one thing to look at. Now the second thing is avoid being respectful. Disrespectful or academic dishonesty. These things affect relationship with lecturers very well. Now, avoid excessive familiarity or unprofessional conduct. Despite the fact that I'm very close with these lecturers, and many a times when I'm sending them message, I send them message in a professional way. So if they tend to relate with me um as if very familiar. Many times I don't give them back that energy. I give them the energy of professionalism because why? They are my lecturer. At the same time, they are my mentor. So I don't allow familiarity to come into the whole thing. The last thing to look at for is avoid contacting lecturers only during emergency. So there's something I do time to time, send them message, check out on them to know how they are doing, and then to just greet them. I do that a lot. And so when you're able to build such relationship, even in time of emergency, when you send them messages, they'll be able to respond because why? You built relationship. So avoid sending or contacting your lecturers only during emergencies. It's not good. It's not good. So to wrap up this whole thing, my the takeaway for this class is the five pillars that defines a meaningful student relationship. Now, first thing is recognition of lecturers' borderlines. Second thing is academic growth. The third thing is mentorship. The fourth thing is campus networking, and the long-term opportunities creation. Now, these five things, when you have good relationship with lecturers, they give you access to these five things. They give you access to recognition of the lecturer's broader line. First, the broader role, sorry, his role, the broader role of the lecturer, either a male or a female. You know, you know more about what they can do for you. You know more about where they can cover in the whole thing. The next thing, it helps you in academic growth. You can't be an underaverage student when you are close to lecturer, when you have good relationship with lecturers. Yes, it gives you the opportunity of the mentorship, the opportunity of campus networking. So now, because of some lecturers I'm close to, now I've contact with lecturers in in as far as as far as the East, yes, as far as the East, yes, and not just with Nigeria. So let's just keep that to that. So that's one thing just to you, and then it also gives you long-term opportunity creation. Now, together, these pillars shapes a successful university journey for you as an academic student. And I think I'm going to take a pause at this junction, and I want to say thank you for the opportunity to speak with you guys. So I'll be expecting a few questions, then I'll be out. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much, Joel, for this eye-opening session and very beautiful talk. Without any much waste of time, we'll head up to our second speaker, Hagai Elisha. Thank you very much. You have the floor.
Okay, thank you very much, Benjamin. Thank you very much, everyone. Um, I'm happy to be here once more. Uh, I apologize for being here late. I was at an event. I was just able to to put myself together so that I can attend the session. Um, what the first speaker has spoken, he has quite said much of what I would just say. What I would just do is simply add probably more flesh and all that. Because most of what I would have said, he has said it already because he has spoken in length. Relationships is usually about common interests generally. So when two people who share a common interest come together, the relationship may stay longer. But when the relationship is one-sided, whereby you have just one person feeding the whole thing, it doesn't move well. So uh, one important thing that we must understand about relating with our lecturers is like the first speaker said that students and electoral relationship may be a little bit complicated because sometimes when lecturers allow students into their domain, students tend to abuse those opportunities and begin to do things they are not supposed to do, and these things can ruin the relationship. Now you can hear of stories how some students take advantage of the the relationship they have with their lecturers, and they I believe we all know some of these ways that some people take. So no matter how close you are with somebody, you must you must understand that there are still boundaries that you must maintain. At least you must still maintain that respect and decorum when you are addressing or dealing with them. Um, I'm just trying to stay on point. Now, what are the practical steps that we can use to build rapport with our relationship? Just like I've earlier mentioned, um, relationships are usually beneficial. When you meet your lecturer, you should have a defined. Those people don't have, they are too busy to be spending time on things that are not useful. So they don't have time to spare in doing things that are not useful or are not goal achieving. So when you engage your lecturers, you must know what you want from them, and what you want must be very clear. Do you want mentorship? Is this something you want to do with them? Do you want them to guide you? These are all areas. So it's very important that you must maintain, you must know what you want when you want to engage or relate with your lecturers. Now, how can you build rapport? The first question is, what is rapport? Rapport is only actually about conduct. How do you conduct yourself when you are dealing with your lecturer? I think the first speaker has spoken very extensively on these matters already. I'm just going to add a little. I know I don't have a lot of time to speak because, but I'm just going to say this. Now, one of the steps is that you must remain respectful. Yes, like I said, maintain that boundary. No matter how close you are, you must ensure that you address them respectfully and do not disrespect them. That's one of the ways to ensure that you conduct yourself properly around them. Next one is, do not take advantage of the relationship that you have with them. Do not take advantage of relationship that you have with them. Simply, some people, I know some people that feel, because I know this lecturer, maybe they have issues they are going through or something, and then they eventually go to ask those lecturers for grades or something simply because they know them. Uh, these are all these are all ways that could ruin the relationship that you can have with uh, with your lecturers. Now, the next thing I'm going to be talking about is opportunities even after graduation. Now, just like the first speaker has said, I said he has virtually said everything I would have said. Just like she has said, lecturers have access to many opportunities that they may not know. Now, once upon a time, we were just there, and then this my lecturer and mentor just sent an information. He said he just mentioned that they were looking for somebody with this particular skill set for immediate employment. Now, what does that tell you? Now, they will not send those information outside. He was sending it to us who were his mentees. So if anyone was qualified enough from there, that information wouldn't have gone out. So we wouldn't have known, nobody else would have known about any of these things. So there are a lot of opportunities that lecturers have access to, depending on what you want to do. Do you want to engage in research? Do you want to leave the country? Anything you want to do. These people have contacts because they have been building over the years. And the thing is that one thing about mentorship is that you're able to ride on the things that they have built over the years, and they can easily help you achieve the things that you want to achieve because they have achieved it, and they will quickly show you the right way to go. So some of the opportunities that abound to students after graduation are usually internship opportunities so that you can train and skill up. Another one that abound to students is scholarship opportunities. Another one is job opportunities. These are all opportunities that many students after leaving school want. And I assure you, many of our lecturers have access to a lot of these things. So it is very, very important that, just like our first speaker said, if you are close with them, when something comes up, you are the first that will come to their mind. So it is very, very necessary for us generally to maintain a good relationship and a good rapport. You respect them, you respect their space, their boundary. Don't take advantage of their kindness, you know. I have a lot of, as much as possible. One thing I like to do is, as a person, one thing I like to do is I like my lecturers to notice me. So even if I don't really directly have a direct relationship with you, I mean on a personal level, I want them to know I exist. And I deliberately do it. Sometimes when I was a student, what I did was I deliberately put myself in the space that they would notice me, because I know that one day, I won't have to come and explain myself and say I was your student, and they're thinking when, because I have strategically placed myself and ensured that they have noticed me. So that's one of the strategies you can use. You can be very engaging, engage them in class, ask them questions, answer their questions in class. For those that are students, these are some of the ways lecturers will remember you. You can you can just find a way to engage them a little so that they can remember you. They are equally humans like us. So every principle we know about maintaining a relationship between one person and another person applies to them as well. They equally want interaction. They equally want interaction. They can chat with you. They can, but of course, not all of them, but some of them are able to bring themselves low to actually engage with many of us if they sense that you are respectful and you respect boundaries. Now, hello, am I speaking to myself or I'm speaking to people?
Yes, sir. You're speaking to people,
Yeah,
real people
Okay.
who are listening. Yeah.
Yes, I was scared. I thought I was speaking to myself alone. So
No.
I know the first speaker, Mr. Joseph, has done a lot of speech on this, given a lot of lecture on this. And I think that if we apply the same principles, everything I would have said, he has already said it. He has already said it, because as just after I joined, I saw the slides and everything, and it's just perfect. So I will just hammer on what he has said. As you have noticed, I'm just reiterating everything he has said. And I don't think it's necessary for us to waste our time talking about something over and over again. But most times there's a gap between listening and acting. There's a gap between listening and acting. So it's necessary that we don't just listen to this thing, but we should act on it. But importantly, before you engage your lecturer, before you engage them, make sure that your engagement with them is very purposeful. Know what you want from them. Because if you do not know what you want from them, they don't even know how to help you, because you can't even accept the help they are willing to give you. And just like he mentioned earlier, different lecturers have different um, areas of expertise. So depending on where you want to be, who will give you who can you leverage on to get to where you want to go. Now, most times, um, I know many of us that are here are people that are interested in academics. Yes, are people that may be interested in academics. So it means that many of us intend to do masters, PhD, and eventually come down to do lecturing or even take research roles, because usually that is the path where our lecturers are on, and I assure you that is the path they will guide you to. I know some of them are wide and versatile. That is why it's important for you to know what you want, because if you do not know, you can eventually engage lecturers that will not lead you to where you are going to. So it is very, very critical. Like for my undergraduate, I remember the person that supervised me for my project, I handpicked that person. Yes, I handpicked that person because I had something I wanted to work on. And I went to him and said, "Sir, I want you to guide me on this area." And he said, "Okay." He called my level coordinator and said, "Place this student under me." And that was how it happened. So you must be strategic, know what you want to achieve, and ensure that whatever you are doing aligns with that. And don't limit yourself to lecturers that are only in your scope. Network. If you are on LinkedIn, LinkedIn is a platform that allows people from different spaces to engage. In fact, I think last year when I was engaged with one lecturer from the UK. Yes, I got her to attend one of our events here in the department. Now, even though it was virtually, but it started on LinkedIn. I simply saw what she did somewhere, and then I said, I was impressed with what she did, and I wish that thing could be replicated here in Unijos. And she was excited, and of course, we did something similar, even though it was small. So through you can leverage LinkedIn to connect with people from other places and build relationship that will last because you don't know depending on where you are headed. So it's very, very important to pay attention. So thank you for listening. Unless there's any question that anybody wants to ask, I think I've spoken enough already. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for reiterating and also chipping in your own valuable facts and wanted to say facts and figures, but facts and values to on top of what Joel had already established. So yeah, this is a time for questions. If you have questions, you could just unmute your mic and ask. Our two speakers would be cheerful enough to give you guys responses back. So yeah, if you have any questions, just unmute. The floor is yours. If you have questions, unmute your mic. I mean, we, Abigail, don't you have any question? You're in 200 level. I think this session is very much more important to you because you still have time, chance, and opportunity to. You have 4 more years in bag or three. Bibiana, you don't have any questions?
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
I don't have any question. I've listened carefully and I've quite understood all they have said.
All right, then. That's interesting. Thank you very much. Bibiana, for the record, she's always persistent with our meetings and she's very loyal to this cause. Thank you very much, Bibiana. Well, since we don't have any questions, let me just reiterate. Okay, Abigail, you have a question?
No, I don't have a question. Question. Um. Well, I don't really have a question, but because me personally, I didn't know that we could actually have relationship with our lecturers because when we're coming to university, they said like you should avoid your lecturers, da da da. But I've learned a lot today. So thank you, the speakers.
All right, thank you very much, Abigail. I mean, this is one of the reasons why we have decided to have this call session. The relationship we're talking about is not the student relationship in their own perspective as they think, not some sort of consensual relationship of sort. We're talking about healthy relationship, academic relationship. I'm very happy that your perspective have been straightened on the kind of relationships we're talking about, right? I'd like to reiterate or go over some of the things our first and second speaker have pondered on today. And the key for me is the common misconceptions, like Abigail has, in the start of her, academic career or her academic, journey here, which Joe, our first speaker, pointed out the common misconceptions. First, he talked about lecturers are too busy. That's the first misconception students have. I mean, someone say, if I want to go meet this lecturer, he's going to be very busy. He's not going to attend to me and all those things. But I mean, that's just by the way. That's one of the misconceptions students have. The second is lecturers are unfriendly, which is not true. There hasn't been a lecturer which have approached Kenneth from Prof. Rashid, Miss Rose, on and on, even General Joshua as well, who's currently doing his PhD, and other lecturers. All of them are very, very, very friendly if you approach them. In fact, they are very happy to approach them as a student. And he also said lecturers are only interested about academic growth. Lecturers want beyond academic growth for you as students. They want you to grow in research. They want you to be disciplined. Most lecturers love discipline, like Mr. Kenneth. He embraces discipline. Once you're disciplined, anything else could be, attained and achieved, right? Um, and these are just like the few ones I noted down. And if you have shared your perspective on some of these common misconceptions, then I think approaching lecture should be very easy. And our second speaker, Mr. Haggai, started with something. There was a session last upper week. Ben shared me call link with. We had Bio Akanbi. He was a pharmacist. He's schooled here in University of Jos pharmacist. And he's currently in the UK now, doing well for himself. And he and the excellence he talked about was not the excellence people think that you must have money before you become excellent, that you must be rich before you have excellence. Excellence is what you currently do every day of your life as you move on. Excellence is waking up every day and dressing your bed. Excellence is washing your clothes when they are dirty. Excellence, according to him, sometimes is plotting your graph well, reporting your practicals, and submitting them on due sessions. Excellence is doing everything great. What is worth doing well is worth doing well, right? That's what excellence is. And the global mindset you have is acknowledging the fact that you should be excellent in every single thing you do. He told us how he was, selling drugs on the street of Angwarukuba and some other places of Jos. He had this global mindset, and today he's in the UK. We also had Jinchi Penap, I think it's a colleague of his, who has done MSc and PhD in the US, currently in the US, and works in the US. I recall visiting a doctor one time, and she shared me um, a, like an announcement post, like a PDF, an announcement PDF a certain company made, and it happens to be that she works in that company. I mean, how things connect. So yeah, we should strive to be excellent, and striving to be excellent is committing every day of our lives to doing meaningful things. And he also talked about relationships are about common interest. Life itself is about interest, right? And Dr. Ben said something very fundamental. He said relationships are about value. Relationships are fueled by value. If someone is valuable to you, then there must be an outstanding relationship in peace. You cannot continue building relationships with people who are not valuable, who are adding nothing to your life. So always know that if you want to build relationships with your lecturers, Abigail, your 800 level, think about how you can be valuable to your lecturers. Do not take advantage of lecturers. Both the first and second speaker pointed on this. Do not take advantage of your lecturers. Over familiarity, trying to take advantage. Maybe someone has a problem, maybe the person failed, and you think you can leverage relationship. It's a very bad thing to do. Nobody should ever be encountered in doing such a thing. And lecturers are sitting on tons and tons of opportunities. We've had the privilege to be, enlightened by senior colleagues. I'll call them senior, work colleagues at the place we currently IT at the pharmaceutical pharmchem lab at pharmaceutical sciences faculty. They have told us very, very great things about how to excel in what we do and how to come into that work path if we're interested and how to go about it. And they pondered on schooling. You have to, continue schooling for opportunities to be unlocked. And you can only get access to these opportunities if you are excellent. And then if you have attained, a certain degree of, educational, height, right? And you have to act first because after listening to everything, you should put everything you've learned into action. And by acting in it is considering the misconceptions you've had and the perspective that should be straightened by this enlightenment you've had on this call. And then prepare yourself to be valuable because if you're building relationships, you have to be valuable. Not even just academic relationships, in all other relationships. People will go on to say, I have broke up with somebody because they no longer sell value to me, they no longer do that. It's about value, and life itself is about interest. So if you want to approach the next person, think about how valuable you can be to that person. Before we end the call, I'd like to acknowledge Dr. Ben in bringing the speakers together. We have had Joel, we have had Mr. Haggai on this call talk to us about literature synthesis. Joel talk to us about academic writing, and it goes on and on and on. So I'd sincerely like to thank you guys for acknowledging our request to speak on this session and probably more in the future, because I am very confident well enough to know that if we reach out, you guys would answer. It's truly an honor. So, Dr. Ben, I allow you the chance and opportunity to have a word. Thank you.
All right. So thank you very much, our host Hendrix, and I want to really appreciate our speakers today, Sir Haggai and Joseph Guda, for taking out their time. These are very busy people. These people are very busy with their work. But then I reached out to them very late. I think it was just yesterday I reached out to Mr. Haggai, and then he still honored, and then he came and he spoke. Sir, we are very grateful. We are very grateful. Thank you so very much for taking out your time out of your very busy schedule to speak to us today. We are very grateful. Thank you so much. This is a whole lot. This is a whole lot. I believe everyone who is on this call today have learned a lot, and I urge you all to go and then apply this all that you've heard today. Yes. Oh, thank you all.
All right, then. Thank you everybody for joining. So we call this a day. You can tune in to this same, links will be dropped to our community channels for the next session next week. We have got something on site, something very big, something very amazing, something very fundamental to everybody's life, whether academic or not. And I'd like to embrace all of us to join the session next week. Once more, Mr. Haggai, Elisha, thank you very much for acknowledging our request to speak. Also, Mr. Joe, thank you for acknowledging our request to speak. Thank you very much, guys.
Yeah.
Without any
So
much more to
so
say
excuse
or
me, Hendrik,
questions,
before you
okay, Dr. Van?
before you close, let me say something. Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm with you.
Yes. So it's about our coming class next week. Our webinar next week is about designing a CV that is ATS friendly, right? ATS there means
Oh
application
yeah,
tracking
yeah,
system.
true. I didn't want to
So
let the cat out of the bag, but yeah,
we
there's
we got a very amazing speaker who is very experienced in that area. I believe this is something that everybody, every student, both graduate, because a lot of people don't know these things. People graduate from school before they like start looking for people who will help them design CVs and all of that. So it's going to be very interesting. So I urge you all to join us again come next week Friday. Yes.
all right. Then thank you very much, Dr. Van. So I didn't want to let the cat out of the bag, so that everyone would, come prepared and stop to learn about it. Personally, for me, I learned about the ATS, technology that is used, CV screening when I was trying to read more on how to get into ExxonMobil. There's nothing you don't do for greatness. But yeah, we're having that session next week. Same time, 7 p.m. as always. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining, and you do have a good night. Bye.